Hello, hello, my friends. It is Thursday, May the 1st. Happy May Day. Miss Ma'am had her speech last night. Let's talk about what we are up against, which is a culture. It is so nice when Kamala Harris or Barack or Michelle Obama speak. Just they're such great orators. They're so polished and professional and educated and well-spoken. And it's just further insult to injury that a bunch of people, when they see that, get so bothered that they would rather light this country on fire than follow one of them again, because how dare they be that well put together against the odds when they have managed to do nothing with the body they were born in. And rather to acknowledge that they fucked up their own chances, they would rather blame it on DEI, and they must have been given opportunities due to their blackness. That's the only thing that makes sense to them, and they're holding on to it. Darling, at this time, I would like to remind you that we are up against an actual literal cult. Okay, so I know I have folks that keep hopping into the comments, and I'm pretty sure I can guess the exact age and demographic of the folks who are real hard set on the only thing we can do is protest and nothing else will work, only protest. And I keep going, all right. Throughout history, that has always been stage one, and eventually it moves on to another stage, doesn't it? Because you can't negotiate with narcissists. You can't negotiate with kings when you're the people that's below them. You know, they're not interested in that. And we are up against a literal cult. A cult is a group of rabid animals pooping in their own food bowls. Okay, that's what we're up against. So expecting them to respond to empathy or the amount of pressure of being disliked is not going to be enough. Now, caveat, darling, I will admit, because I think what some of them are trying to say is like a full strike, right? If everyone stops, no school, no work, no driving, no buying, no shopping, no nothing, everyone just self-lockdown, no one participate in society. Would that work? Yes. Here's the problem. Everyone here is trapped. Most of the people cannot miss a single effing paycheck. And so it is a huge pill to swallow to tell them, hey, take a risk and you might lose your insurance. You might lose your job. Yes, we're going into recession. Yes, everything's costing more. Yes, the government is already telling you your kids are going to have less toys for Christmas because of their decisions. Winning. Just take a risk and stop. Now, if we all did it, it would work. But again, I believe that is actually the harder path, believe it or not, than getting people to realize that the next step after bubbles and song singing is for some folks to get their hands dirty. It will take less people and it will go by faster versus we would need at least half the population to sit out. That's a lot. So, I mean, hey, if we can get it, what have I said in the carpools? Okay, we need something unprecedented. We need a new adventure, a new trail blazed. It has to be something you didn't consider doing. So whether it's getting rowdy or whether it's committing to staying put and complete doing a self-lockdown, whatever it is, everyone needs to get on the same page and everyone needs to do it. Okay, I've already said my piece on which things I believe will work faster. I am fine with everyone striking all together. Everyone just has to do it because it does have to hit. It has to hit every pocket. It has to hit every legislator because no one is standing up for us. Okay, even Team Blue. I've seen some folks coming in when I was talking about Ms. Harris and they're like, I'm still mad at the Dems for like letting this happen. Me too, baby. Me too. And that's coming from someone who was like, okay, we're watching a sting. There's no way that they know what's happening. And they're just letting it oh shit, yeah, they let it happen. Okay, yeah, they let it happen. And they're still going along with it. Outside of the Cory Bookers and the Bernies and the AOCs, they are running along with it. They're saying that they're going to stand up against it, and then they're voting for it. They're bringing forth articles of impeachment, and then 3 or 4 of them are asking to be removed from it because they don't want their names on it. They're Team Blue, okay? Team Blue. It's supposed to be our team. They wishy-washy, soft, weak sauce. Okay, so when we say the problem is deep and they all need to be rooted out, we're talking about everything. Like I said, impeachment, that's just one dude. This whole thing needs to go. This whole thing needs to go. And if you want to understand the level of I need to speak to the manager that is needed for the action that needs to be taken, I need you to imagine that it's a president of color doing all of this, and that everyone in these seats is a person of color from Real Housewives of whatever, okay? But these, okay? I want it to be all them, and I want them doing the exact same things. Doing the exact same things, punch for punch, except for it's nothing but us doing it. I know. You don't want to admit how you're feeling mad somehow inside. You don't know why, because you feel like you shouldn't get upset at that, but it's making you mad a little. Okay, like I said, we're not going to argue with that. I just need you to tap into it and think of that when you're telling yourself how to respond to this and how long you're willing to wait and how long it's going to take. Like Miss Ma'am said, it's going to get bumpier before it gets better. It has to. Again, we are up against a cult. And when you're up against a cult, darling, they don't just step aside. Okay, they fight to the expiration. Okay, it goes to full meltdown, especially when the leader is a pure narcissist and their whole brand is just go with us because white power. That's their whole brand. Okay, these people are willing to suffer. They spent months telling us that Grandpa Daddy King was going to fix everything immediately, and now they're telling us suffering is patriotic, that they're willing to hang on there for as long as it takes. They're already planning to keep him in for extra sessions and then put Don Jr. in next. And then they're waiting for, what's-his-face, Barron, to get old enough. They've already got for the next 20 years of Trump leadership. Okay, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. These people have signed on to a team. They've signed on to a brand. They've signed on to an ideology, and that ideology is white men only. Whiteness is excellence. Only white Christian men deserve to have anything. They're saying it. This isn't a conspiracy. They're twatlering it out. Hey, a job just went to a woman. That job should have gone to a Christian white man. Excuse me, they just hired a black. That should be a white Christian man in that job. They're just saying it. They're just saying it. It has nothing to do with who's the best for the job. They almost intentionally want the worst for the job on purpose, just to rub it in everyone else's faces and to go, see, we can be total shit and still be in charge of everything because we're just amazing by default, and all of you need to just suck it up. The same way you notice how they've got people coming against college students, college graduates, people with loan debt going, oh, how dare you? I shouldn't have to pay for your college. Okay, but I paid for your PPP loan that you got out of. And you know who abused that? It was them. It was two-teethers. It was red hats. It was folks who abused it, took the money, didn't put it into the business, bought cars, bought shit with it, and then applied for forgiveness. Half of the folks in Congress did it. Half of the red hat business owners did it. What do you think forgiveness meant? Who do you think paid for that? We paid for that. You don't care about that. You don't care about that. You don't mind that. You don't mind paying for golf. You don't mind paying for NASCAR. You don't mind overspending. You don't mind paying for people in Panama. You don't mind paying to send people to none of those things are payments you mind. You know what you mind? A child getting lunch at school. That grinds your gears. Another woman in the woman's bathroom. That's worth everything. If we have less toys this Christmas, if there's no food on the shelves, at least I know what kind of woman is in the bathroom. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do. Look over there. Ooh, scary person over there. No. Don't look at how we're getting away everything you need to live your life. You can survive all that. You know what's important? Yeah, the fact that we're breaking up families. You know what's important? Yeah, the fact that we're committing international crimes against humanity. Winning. Yeah, we're triggering. Yeah, the libs are so triggered that we're doing all these crimes. Yeah, they're so triggered. Just keep going. We're winning as long as libs are mad. Okay, as long as libs are mad, that's our whole brand. You don't need to know anything else other than they're mad and this guy is the prophet of God. Those are the only two things you need to know. It's not funny. It's not funny, but that's what we're up against. I'm laying it out to understand what we are up against so you stop thinking that you can negotiate with rabid animals that are eating their own fecal matter. You can't negotiate with those, okay? You have to show them one way or another. It's got to be something you're uncomfortable doing. So decide what that is and get everybody on board post haste.